So what we're going to do here is download OSMtracker and set it up for doing a dog survey. So we need to go to the Play Store to get the OSMtracker app. You do need to be connected to Wi-Fi for this bit. We're going to search in the bar up here. OSMtracker. Here it is, OSMtracker for Android. Okay, and we click install. We accept those. Give it a little bit of time now to download and install. Okay, and we open this one up. Now, as you can see, when you first start OSMtracker, it's just on a default setting. It's not set up for dog surveys. You see that initially the background is dark, then the colour will change once your device has a GPS satellite connection. So it's looking for GPS satellites at the moment. And there you can see the background has changed. The message at the top here gives you the accuracy, 10 and 12 metres for your location using the GPS satellites. So what we're going to do is use OSMtracker in this default setting first of all, just to get it to create a folder that we can utilise on our device. So choose to take photo with camera, take a photo of anything you like, the view out of my window, give it a tick, click the tick, there we go. Okay, and we're going to do just now stop and save. So now we've used OSMtracker once. When we go to our file manager, so go back using the home button, go to file manager, hopefully we will be able to see in our internal storage OSMtracker. At the top there you see we have this folder now called OSMtracker. Open that up, and what you're going to need to do is create a folder in there, and the folder is going to be called layouts with a lowercase l. Layouts, and click OK. Now what you need to do is go to your email. Now you should have set up i4hcdroot at Gmail on your phone. So if you now go to your Gmail app and make sure that you're looking at that particular email, if we just click on the little icon here, we can see we're in i4hcdroot Gmail, and somewhere in there, somewhere in the inbox, you should see an email from me with the subject layouts for OSMtracker. Here it is. So you can open up that email, and what you will find as attachments is 8 images and 1 XML file. So what we need to do is download all of these images, all 8 of them, onto your device one by one, and also the XML file. Okay, so those are all now downloaded. I'm going to go back to my file manager, and I'm going to move them to the correct place. So if we look in our download folder, you can see this is all the images that I've just downloaded and this very important XML file. So we're going to select all of these, and we're going to move them to our OSMtracker folder. Move those. Choose internal storage and look for OSMtracker. There it is. And look for that little layout folders you've just created. There we go, all are. Okay, so they are now in that folder. There we go. Okay, so now what we can do is set up OSMtracker to be used with for a dog survey. So we go back to OSMtracker, we go to the menu, settings. Right, there's a few things we need to check in the settings. I would switch off the sound. You want it to check GPS at startup. That should be default, that should be as it is. You need to switch off one directory per track, so make sure you untick that one. Then you want the screen to always be on, again that's default. And then there's this one here, the button presets. So click there, and you see you have a default or Survey Mumbai No Fots. Now that Survey Mumbai No Fots is the one we've just put in there. That's the one that you select. And I suggest also that you set the orientation to portrait. It makes it easier to see as you survey. Okay. Now, if we open New Track, now we can see that we are set up to do a dog survey. We can see the different dog types. If we open the details page, we can see all of the different welfare records that we can make for each dog. Click back, and the all-important record sighting button down in the right-hand corner here. And once you have filled in the details for the dog in front of you, click that record sighting button. So, for example, we see a female, condition score 3, she has no skin condition, and she's a brand new dog. We've never seen her before. So she's a new dog, yes. We click back, and we click record sighting. So you record all the dogs that you see as you move along your route. When you have finished your survey, you click stop and save in the top right-hand corner here. You then hold your finger down on the track you've just created, and it gives you a number of options. Resume tracking is a good one to notice. If you accidentally stop and save your track as you're going about your survey, you can actually click resume tracking, and then it will open back up and you can carry on recording dogs. Once you have definitely completed the survey, you've got all the way to the end of your route, you've done stop and save, you now need to export as GPX. And then you see you have your little green button on the right hand side there. Now if you go back to File Manager, to the OSMtracker folder, we can now see we have this brand new GPX file that's just appeared there, and that's the one we've just created. So if you hold that down, you can then share that. And what you're trying to do is to email it. And there's lots of different ways you can attach this GPX file to an email, but this is the way that I tend to do it. Choose to Gmail, and it should then automatically create you a little email with the correct attachment. And what you need to do is send that to me and to Elsa. And in the next section of this video, I'll just run through some of the reminders, things to keep in mind when you're doing a survey, and some additional information that you should send in this email with your GPX file. Okay. So just some reminders on how to do the roaming dog survey along the routes that we've set up in your town. You need to follow the route exactly as you have done previously and as shown on the Google Maps app. When you're signed in as i4hcdroute@gmail.com, you should be able to see that route and follow it using your Google Maps app. You need to start the survey at exactly the same time of day. So think back to when you've done the survey previously and check with Ellie if you're not sure when that was, because you need to use the same time of day. We know that dogs change their behaviour patterns during the day, so it's important to keep that time of day consistent. You need to use the same method of transport. For example, this is usually walking in Bosnia. We can't change to cycling or driving a car because the speed at which you cover the route will again impact the number of dogs you see, and we want to keep our protocol as consistent as possible. You need to conduct the survey twice each time. So try to conduct 2 surveys on consecutive days, so on the Monday and the Tuesday, for example. Although, do avoid bad weather. So if you wake up and you see that it's raining, don't do the survey on that day, wait for the next day. Do also try to avoid any unusual days, such as holidays or weekends, when people and therefore dogs would likely to behave differently. For each dog that you see, you need to record it as one of these 7 types: as a sterilised female, as a lactating female, as a female that is neither lactating nor obviously sterilised, as a castrated male, as a male that's not castrated, or as an unknown adult if you can't tell the gender of the dog, or as a pup, and these are dogs that are below 4 months of age. Now if the dog stays in view for long enough, you also need to click the details button down in the middle there, and then you can start to record some additional information about each dog. And I'm going to go through that additional information now. So first of all, you can record their body condition, either as emaciated C1, thin C2, ideal C3, overweight C4, or obese C5. And I'm going to go through each of these in turn now. So an emaciated dog is one where the backbone is visible. and the pelvic bones are also visible from a distance. They have an obvious waist and and a very clear abdominal tuck, and you can see in the photo that you can really see the backbone on this dog. A thin dog is one where you can see the ribs, but the backbone is not visible. So there's a little bit of body fat, but you can clearly see the ribs. A dog that is in ideal body condition, the ribs are not visible, even on close inspection. I don't suggest that you touch the dogs when you're doing this survey, just do this all visually. But you can see there's an abdominal tuck, which means that you can see the body line goes from under the chest up into the back leg. It slopes upwards, and if you saw the dog from above, you would be able to see a waist as well. An overweight dog is one where the waist isn't really visible, and really neither is the abdominal tuck. So they're basically like a little sausage on legs. And then an obese dog is more like a football on legs. So that's where the stomach is protruding further out than their front and back legs if you look from above. And when you look from the side, you can see that their stomach hangs down. Okay, we also record dogs for skin condition, and it's a very simple assessment, just is there a visible skin problem? And you can include, if you see a dog with very matted fur, we include that as a visible skin problem. The last category we've got on that details page is whether it is a new dog, yes, or a new dog, no. Now, new dogs are those which you have not seen before. So they're potentially newly abandoned dogs, or they may just be roaming away from home on that day. If you think you have seen the dog before, you've seen it roaming in this area, either you saw it on the last survey 3 months ago or prior to that. So you could define it as a community dog. If it's that kind of dog, you're going to click new dog, no, it's not a new dog. Remember, you must click record sighting once you're happy with how you've scored the dog. So once you've finished completing the details, you click the little back button, it will take you back to the original page, and then you click record sighting, and then you can move on and record the information about the next dog that you've seen. When the full route is complete, when you've done the full survey, you then click stop and save in the top right hand corner. You then hold your finger down on the track and then select to export as GPX, and that creates a little green dot to the side of your track. You then need to email that GPX file to both Ellie and Elsa, and in the email please include your name, the name of the town or route where you are surveying, the date of the survey, the start and the end time of your survey, and any comments on things that could have affected the numbers of dogs that you saw. So this could be things like it started raining partway through the day, or you were delayed for some reason during the survey. And what we'll do is enter the data into the Access database and send you back an image which shows all of the dogs that you have recorded. And finally, just a big thank you to you for making the effort to complete this survey. The data that you collect is incredibly precious to us, and hopefully to the wider community. It's going to be a great way of measuring the impact that we're having on the roaming dog population.